Well, what do you think about that?
That's all I have to say. She said what? What did she say? We were talking about that last night, and we were discussing that it seemed like whether Kamala Harris actually heard what the person said or they did not. I would bring it up to a higher thing, and that was the young man yelled out, Christ is Lord. Is that right?
Jesus is Lord, yeah.
Right. He said, Jesus is Lord, and he shouted it out. And, I mean, if you look at the size of the rally, it was a pretty big rally, and they had a lot of people and a lot of noise. And so whether she heard it or not, I think they had come up with lines for her to use against any protesters, because she also has protesters who are upset with the Democratic Party about not ending the war in Gaza. So whether it was a Palestinian protest or anything, that she was going to have that one-liner. But I believe that when that young man uttered that word, that was a higher spiritual thing happening. And so something more spiritual, of a spiritual dimension, happened when she retorted that you were in the wrong room. So I believe that whether she heard him or not, whether she believes it or not, whether she's anti-Christian or not, I think it's important for our election, but I think is a moot point. The bigger point was that it jumped out of her mouth. And I think those words came out of her mouth. It could have been anybody else standing there. And when that young man uttered those words, I think a more sinister spiritual thing happened. And that was to make sure it was declaring that that room belonged to not Jesus Christ.